Okay, welcome back. More Shadowscape. Our party is back in the Tavern Inn, and it appears Garlox is missing. That is what I left for our cliffhanger in the recent episode. So, right now, I have Garlox's character sheet off to the side just in case. I'm not too sure yet what actually happens. What we will do is roll for it. So, right now it's 10 a.m. They just entered the tavern. They're looking around. And they can't find Garlox anywhere in the main dining area. They go upstairs to their rooms, mainly Garlox's room. It's unlocked. They open it, and he's not there. But using our mythic, let's roll to see what they notice about his room. What is something that transpired? Let's figure this out. 71. Nature. Okay. 59. Nature mundane. Wait a second. Hold on. Nature mundane. Okay. Did he just go out for a walk? I'm pretty sure that's what happened here. Nature mundane. It's that again. Maybe he misses the outdoor. His. I mean, if we're thinking stereotypically, dwarves typically, live in, I would say, are from strongholds or in mountains underground, etc. But maybe Garlox is a special case where he prefers the outdoors. Maybe that's one of the reasons he is not back in his stronghold of what was it called? Peak of Claven. Oh yeah, I was in the Claven jokes. So Claven. I mean, we know his story vaguely. We haven't really explored him just yet. I actually have not included his story. I think I kept it open. I believe I mentioned that he was banished, but that might be retconned. I'm still trying to figure him out. But anyways, is he just outside walking about due to the those two roles there? So let's say very likely that's what he's doing. 17. Very likely that is just on the border of strong yes and a standard yes. So he is actually just walking around, but that's actually a problem. I just remembered. So I've said it multiple times that Garlox or dwarves are not respected here for some reason. That's something I still want to explore. So let's write down that Garlox is out walking, and it could be trouble. But one thing I'm notorious for is losing my pencil. It rolls off the table, and I have to go to Narnia to find it. So, because this one's becoming very short after all the sharpening, but that's fine. That's proof that I'm doing my job here, writing my notes down. Okay, like I was saying, let's note down. It might be off camera just a teensy bit. There we go. Garlax is just walking around, is out for a stroll. So, I'm gonna spell that wrong, but out for a walk. So uh, it's 10:15, and oops, not up there. Let's put on the first line at 10:15, Tavern. I'm gonna be a little less specific on some things. We're inside, and that those 10 or so minutes were just the party going upstairs looking for him. And they come back downstairs. They ask the barkeep, if they saw the dwarf, if they saw Garlox, if he remembers his name. I don't think he does remember his name. Does the barkeep? This is such a minor detail, but I feel like rolling for it. Does the barkeep remember his name? I'm gonna say very unlikely. 54. That's a negative. He did not. They're like, okay, do you remember a dwarf walking out of the tavern sometime this morning? And perhaps it was busy this morning, so let's say likely 60. He did. He barely remember. I mean, dwarfs are not common here, obviously. So he barely remembers seeing a dwarf leaving at about. When did our team leave? Our team left roughly after 8, before 8 o'clock. So maybe Garlox got impatient and was sitting in the corner. The barkeep is saying, your friend was in the corner with a drink. He paid. He's like, surprisingly. And then he got up and left around 9 a.m. The team doesn't know yet that he just went for a walk. So um, they asked the barkeep, they meaning both our team, probably specifically Wholf. He says, did he leave with anybody? And the barkeep says, no, he just got up and left. So I'd say probably Rayla's thinking maybe he just got impatient and went for a walk. Maybe went to the nearby armory or some tool shop, whatever dwarves like. So they're like, okay, so they thank him and they leave. They are out now outside after speaking with the barkeep for about maybe just 5 minutes, so 10:20 a.m. Outside Tavern. We're still in the same tile we've been for the past 500 years. It's just this one here in Shadowscape. So look at that, 5,500. All right. It is 10 a.m. It was snowing. It's cloudy, a bit overcast, perhaps cold. Maybe that's how the weather is most year round. Just cold up here. So they're looking around. They're thinking, where would Garlox go? Rayla re-emphasized maybe he went to the nearby armory or a place that sells tools, so shops. And let's just say they're generally surrounded by shops of all types: herbs, magic, scroll, books, food, weapons, shield, anything really. It's a big kingdom, and I'm thinking this place is populated to the ceiling with all the usual, um, all the usual elements of a fantasy world kingdom. So they are going to have to look for him. Now, Rayla says, well, if we leave here, he might just go back when we leave. So Rayla offers to stay behind, or he says, well, she recommends that Wholf just stays here. Rayla's good at looking out, finding people. What is her wisdom compared to? Oh yeah, she's a tad better. So she says, I'm good at finding people. Let me find this guy. Sure, we can't miss this, 5 foot something. Uh, I didn't put his height down for some reason. I didn't put any heights down. I'll have to get that detail shortly. But anyways, he's 4 foot something, maybe 4'9", 10. So Rayla is now once again our controlled character outside of the other two. So Wholf will stay behind to look out at the front of the tavern. Wholf, let's see, stays it's tavern door entrance, I should say. Maybe look out for Garlax. Okay, and then Rayla will look for Garlax himself, shops, etc. Okay, she's walking around. It's relatively busy. It is, mid-morning, and she is seeing people of all sizes and shapes, and she is specifically looking for someone who's roughly slightly shorter than her, whatever the typical height of an elf is. Which actually, I do have the book nearby. We might as well just look into it. So grabbing our Dungeon and Dragons Rule Cyclopedia, which covers the entire BECMI line, excluding Immortals, with just a mention of it at I think the end of the book. So we're looking for races or classes per se, which is page 13. By the way, this book is just phenomenal. Let's see. We're looking for. I think actually this might be before classes. So There it is. Okay, you guys can't see it, but I have it off the camera here. It's just heights and weight, stuff like that. So it just because I changed the character sheets like twice already. Um, so for elf characters, she's probably going to be 5 feet. So 5 feet. Weight, I'm not too worried about it. She's probably, based on the picture to your left, she's probably thin. And then for our other two characters, human for 5'8", let's say for Wolf, 5'8". And then our dwarf friend, who we're looking for, he's going to be 4 feet. So we'll make him relatively short. All right. So we're good with the book now. And we got that figured out. Now, back to the adventure. Once again, we're still here. We're, Rayla is walking around. She's looking for a 4-foot dwarf, and she's worried because she obviously they both know of the reputation of dwarfs here. But what we know as the audience, or I should say as the game dungeon master, is that Garlox just went out for a walk. He didn't go do anything specific. Maybe he wandered off somewhere and he is at a shop somewhere. So Rayla finds an armory, and it is open. She enters inside, and what does she notice about this first armory, or let's just call it a weapons depot, which might not be the right terminology for that time, for that era, but I'm going to use it anyways. Weapons depot, weapons merchant, weapons vendor. What did she notice about this when she walks inside this actual building? 40 enemies. Okay, that's I have an idea already. So I love this using this oracle. 25. Empty. Interesting. So enemies empty. Okay, there was a fight. Here's what I mean. So because dwarfs are not respected here, or looked down upon, we don't know why just yet. She finds the store, part of the store has been ransacked, has been not destroyed, but is a mess. And so she's looking around and she can see. Let's ask the Oracle: is the owner of this store? Is he present at the moment? Most likely he is. Let's say the store is a mess. Just going to write myself a little note here. The store is a mess. Okay. Let's say it is very likely the store is I'm sorry, the owner is present. If not, he's out getting a guard. He or she's out getting the guard. 63, very likely. That is a yes. That is a okay yes, a weak yes. So the owner steps out from the back room and sees Rayla. The owner says, "I'm sorry, but we are closed. There was a fight here. I don't know what happened. I've called for the guard. They're on their way. I recommend please leaving the store." And Rayla says she's thinking of Garlox at the moment, and she says, "Did the fight happen to include a dwarf?" And let's ask the Oracle. I think it's likely, but this could have been just a general robbery. Maybe it was just some bandits. So let's say likely. 56, 59. That is a yes. He's thinking for a moment. He says, "Well, yes, there was a dwarf here, but I'm saying he. I'm saying I really don't know the gender of the. It could be a lady, could be a guy, but in any event, they say, yes, there was a dwarf here, but he doesn't think the dwarf started it. So this light, yeah. If it was a very strong yes, then he would have immediately said that the dwarf started the fight. That the Garlox was responsible for the fight, the confrontation. But he says that the dwarf was not responsible for the confrontation. He was defending himself. Then she asks, that is her friend, and she's looking for him. Is Garlox still in the shop? I'm going to say unlikely. 7. Oh, he is. Oh, wow. That is the first possible number for a strong yes once you get down to 1. He's actually in the shop right now. And it turns out, gosh, that's okay. So he is there. She can't see him at the moment, but Garlox, a strong yes, I'm going to write that down because that's good to know, is in the shop. But why would it be a strong yes? So strong yes is beyond your expectations. Exceptional yes. I have to roll for it. I don't really know what to make out on that. Official. Description. 84. Official. Rough. Oh, he's beat up. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. He is unconscious, and he got to a fight. A couple of possibilities here. How much damage did he take? He has 4. Let's just do d6. 5. That's perfect. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He took 5 hits. But did he himself fight? Are the two? Let's say there's 2 bandits, and or 2. Were they bandits? 50-50. They were. Okay, they were bandits. So these guys were trying to rob the vendor. And so the vendor says that the shopkeep says that the dwarf tried to help stop the bandits from stealing some of his goods. Unfortunately, he was knocked out. And he was surprised. Like maybe the way it went, the bandits entered. Garlox was just looking around like a library, window shopping kind of thing inside. And he sees them pull out a couple of daggers. This is the shopkeep explaining to Rayla, while Rayla is tending to Garlox, who's knocked on the floor. Maybe he's not knocked out. Maybe he's just hurt and he's on the ground. He's sitting up, and Rayla is helping him up while the shopkeep is insisting that he was just trying to help. And it's just very unusual for dwarves to help me. And Rayla gives the shopkeep a glance, and she actually defends Garlox a bit. She says, "Well, Garlox is a hero amongst heroes. We help. We help. I mean, something vague like we help the innocent, or we're here on the orders of the king." Or I don't know if she'll go in that much detail, but she does. Let's just say she defends. I'm not going specifics, but she defends Garlox for trying to help. And so the vendor says, no, not at all. I appreciate what he was doing, but they got away. Garlox saw them, but he was, gone to a fight. Remember, there's blood going out the door. Garlox stands up, and then Rayla says, do you have a potion, perhaps? Asking the vendor. And he says yes, so he gives him a spare potion and heals. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll take it. Heals full d6. So that really rejuvenates him greatly. Garlox he appreciates that he is lawful, so it does make sense for him to try to stop these bandits that happens off screen. Then moments later, let me take these notes down. So tried to stop bandits, got hurt. So the guard shows up. And lo and behold, it is the same guard from the night before. It's the watchman. So the night's watchman. He is, well, actually, no, the night's watchman wouldn't be on his shift. Let's just say it's a guard. And so the guard enters the store, and his first reaction is seeing a dwarf, and then he walks up to the shopkeep with a sword drawn. Rayla is there. He said, what did this dwarf do? Did he cause you trouble? And he says the shopkeep's name. The shopkeep says, no, this dwarf was trying to help me. There was 2 bandits in here. They robbed me. They took a bunch of my goods. They fled. The dwarf here was trying to help. Got into a fight. Obviously, the fight ensued, but unfortunately, the bandits got out. The guard believes the shopkeep, but still has the sword drawn, not like at Garlox's throat, but like in the direction of Garlox. Finally stands up after being healed by the potion. Garlox explains that's the truth. Um, Guard, I was just trying to help. Rayla is silent at the moment. The guard recognizes Rayla. She recognizes Rayla. And let's ask how he reacts to seeing her. 33, delay, 72, peaceful. Okay, so the guard has a crush on Layla. He just in his eyes, he's just blown away by her beauty. So I think he just generally has he's just astonished, he's just um, surprised by her beauty and seeing her in the shop. So the guard, I'm gonna make a little joke here, saying guard is let's say has a crush. Let's just say that has a crush on Rayla. Okay, on Rayla. This episode has been pretty funny so far to an extent. So he helps her up and he says, "Oh, madam, please forgive my intrusion." He puts his sword away, his sword, puts his sword away, and he clears his throat. He's like, "Is this dwarf your friend?" And Rayla says, "Yes." And he goes, "Thank God. I mean, well, very well." He says, "Are you hurt?" And she says, "No, no, I'm just helping my friend out." And he says, "Oh, yes, of course." He asked the vendor, um, he asked the shop, can you describe the bandits for me?" And he gives him a description of the bandits from what he saw. Garlox also butts in and says how they look like. Actually, they're just two regular bandits with like scruffy faces, beard, and scars and raggedy clothing, stuff like that. So the guard says thank you, and he turns around, but he looks back at Rayla and says, "Please stay safe and have a nice day. Thank you for your help." As he looks to the dwarf, not really like menacingly, but kind of like a stare. He still has some kind of prejudice to, if that's the right word, some kind of like discriminationary judgment, profiling of the dwarf. I'm trying to feel this out on how dwarfs are seen in Shadowscape. Why are they hated, or why are they looked down upon? I'm trying to play it safe too. I don't want to get to a. I'm trying to figure out where's the gray area for this idea. But anyways, this is all solo play, so it's kind of a work in progress. So the guard leaves. Guard leaves with their descriptions. Bandit descriptions. There's two of them. We can't forget that. Two bandits. Just a little note for myself here. It's just the guard, nothing special. The shop keeps no one special yet. Just a few exchange of words. Okay. So Rayna's just glad to have Garlox back. The shopkeep is going to start cleaning up. They leave. The shopkeep thanks the dwarf one more time for at least trying to help. They leave. The shopkeep walks around the counter, closes the door, and puts a clothesline on. And Garlox he's cleaning himself off. He says, "If I had my weapon, I would be." He said, "If I had my weapon, I would have killed both of those bandits." Says he's trying to clean himself off. He said, Rayla's like, "Where's your weapon?" He said, I left it in my room." So he just he didn't expect to get pummeled by two bandits, overpowered by two bandits. So he doesn't have his weapons on him per se, but they're still in his inventory just for convenience. So they walk back to the tavern. I'm going to assume there's no trouble if it's in the general public area, area of the open road. I'm sorry, the cobblestone paths. So they get to the tavern, and Wholf is leaning against the wall, kind of just looking up into the sky. And then Rayla approaches with Garlox, and he's aesthetically he's happy to see Garlox back. She explains what happened, and Wolf is just he doesn't really say much. He just says, "I'm glad you're okay. We have a great deal of information to share with you." So they go back in the tavern. They grab a drink. Let me write this down. So that after all that, I say it's probably 11 a.m. Uh, they're back in the tavern. So team returns to discuss a plan. Okay. And it's 25 minutes now. I'm recording. Trying to think of how far to go with this episode. So basically, they just need to discuss a plan of how to get to the this location here that the advisor of the kings mentioned, the Tower of Purge. It's way northwest, not too far, but it's definitely. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 or so tiles away in a certain angle. So they sit down, and Wolf has goes up to the barkeep, and he says, "Excuse me, um, would you happen to know where I can get a map of this area, of the lands to the northwest of Shadowscape?" And the barkeep says, "You really want to go out there?" And Wolf, um, kind of surprised, he's yes, that's we are we work for the king. We are on our way. Yeah, he's like, we're adventurers. We're on our way northwest from here to retrieve something. We're on a quest. He just gives the usual spiel. And so the barkeep's like, I don't have a map personally, but my neighbor next door does. And let's see who this neighbor is. I'm gonna roll for it. Let's do the scripture of the neighbor, 41. Someone who is environment, see, 92. Environment, small. Okay, so a small storefront next door. Let's see. Wolf looks for map, and the barkeep recommends the neighbor. Maybe he's a fellow traveler, or he's I don't think who this neighbor would be. Hmm. Let's see. We rolled environment, and what was my other one? Simple, small. So environment small. So it's a small shop. It'll be next to a tavern per se. I'm trying to think what location would be next to a tavern. Let's pull out the table fables here and figure out what that might be. So, um, I have an idea. Loot type 46. You know what? I think it's a carrier. It's a courier. So there's a small shop. Think like a real like a timeshare kind of agency, but next door they help with travel arrangements. So like renting a horse or renting a carriage, stuff like that. So of someone who transports items or a carrier. Maybe I'm trying to think of you know what? I'm just gonna put travel agency. It's just someone who helps with transporting goods or people, etc. So they leave the tavern, or before they leave, they say the barkeep recommended someone next door, a travel agency. Perhaps we should go speak to them. So they leave the tavern. They literally go right next door. It's 11, maybe it's 11:15 the moment, 11:15 a.m. And when they get to the um, travel agent, they walk inside to see the following: to attain, it could just be the map, 37, healthy. Okay. Attain healthy. I don't. Let's see. Okay, they enter. Attain healthy. What could that mean? I think we'll save that for next episode. But let's see if we give our members a little experience here. Wolf didn't do too much. Rayla found and kind of unintentionally flirted with the guard. I'll give her 20 might be a little overkill for that. She didn't do too much. She just found, let's just give her 10. Garlox fought but failed. I'll give him 5, just for the trouble. So that's probably going to be all for this episode, and hope you guys enjoyed, as always. Next episode, we will be and speaking to whoever this travel agent is, probably get to sell us some real estate. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to sell us some timeshare. But for now, that's all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.